So you decided you wanted to buy the Aspire Nautilus Mini. Well, what a good choice, my friend. Now, do you know how to use it? Do you know how to fill it? Do you know how to clean it? Do you know what the different parts are? Probably freaking not, because you just looked at it on the webpage, or you talked to one of your friends that had one and they said, hey dude, this is a good thing to buy, so go spend your money on it. Well, let's see how this thing works. Let's see how to clean it. Let's see how to fill it. And let's see how to hook it up to our electronic accelerator. So, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take it apart. So we take our mouthpiece out. It's got a nice little rubber seal on the end there to keep all the good stuff in. We have our barrel where the mouthpiece sits into. Pretty cool. Got a little hole in there. We all like the holes. Oh yeah. Take our bottom piece here. We'll talk about this ring in a little bit. So we got our bottom piece here. It's all one piece that unscrews, and hopefully the coil comes out attached. Voila. So we have our tank. You can see the air hole goes through there. There's a few threads right in there. There's threads on the coil itself. You can see here in this hand, on the top right there by my big gangly dagger fingernail, and they screw together. That's how this connects into here and stays. Cool. Alright, so what we have here is our actual coil. Let's see, you can see down inside there, if you look real close, there's a screen that covers the actual coil and the cotton itself, and then there's a little metal coil down in there, which one piece of the coil connects right here to this bottom button that is isolated from the outer part, and one piece of the coil connects to this outer metal. So you got positive and you got ground. And if you look real close, I don't know if you can see, there is a rubber seal right behind this button electrode on the end here. Okay, moving on. So we have our coil. It has little cutouts there, you can see right there by my finger, that sucks up the juice. Oh, the juice. So then we can unscrew this coil. Oh, looky there. So then we have the positive portion, and then the outer portion here would be the negative, or the ground. Then we have a little rubber seal, and this piece actually pulls off. If you're really curious, you can pull this off and actually pull your coil out if you so chose to do that, but have fun putting it back together. So this is our coil. Then we have our coil holder, for lack of better terminology. And you can see right down in there, 4K style. Okay, so then we have this seal that goes around the edge that seals up all the goodness inside of that there tank. And got some more threads that this coil screws down into, like so. We'll take that out. Okay, so now you have all your little pieces and parts, right? So let's clean this thing. So what I like to use, a few Q-tips. No, we're not going to clean our ears here because that's just gross. We are going to clean our tank. So Let me move the old electron accelerator. Pew, pew. Move that over here to the sides. Got a little more room. So first thing I like to do is go ahead and take it apart like you see here, and I usually clean this bottom part first. So let's move some of our parts out of here, get a little bit more room. So what I like to do is take a Q-tip, shove it all down in here. You'll be able to see that there's condensation that builds up down in here. If you've filled the tank a few times without taking the coil out and cleaning, you'll see condensation likes to build up in there, and sometimes you get a little juice that finds its way down the hole. So you just take your Q-tip, you just run around anywhere you can reach, anywhere you see condensation, just run it down in there. And that's pretty easy. Clean the threads out, maybe run it on top of the seal here. Clean all that up. If you have a little bit of juice on the outer edge of your seal right here, that's actually okay. If there's a little bit of juice, it actually seals better, believe it or not. So once you get all that condensation cleaned out and it looks kind of good, then that part's good. So then you can set that aside and take your coil, and when you first pull it out, you know it's going to have juice on it, of course. So you can just take a napkin or something and just kind of clean it off, like right down here on the bottom button, down here on the bottom. After a few uses, sometimes there's like a little drop of juice that'll find its way there. Sometimes if your coil seems a little bit weak, it might just need cleaned. Might be a little juice on the bottom of that button, which does affect conductivity of the electrons, so the electron accelerator can accelerate the electrons and no vape. So yeah, check that out. So clean the bottom piece off there, like so. Give it a little nice little cleany. Clean up the sides, you know, maybe wick a little bit of that juice out of those holes that you see there, just to prevent some gurgling, and get all that cleaned up. So then the coil's clean, bottom piece is clean. Next thing you want to take a look at is your actual tank. With the Nautilus Mini, it's a little bit hard to get a Q-tip down beside that barrel there in the middle. So generally what I'll do is if I'm changing e-juices, I will run a little bit of water down in there, kind of swish it around. E-juice is water soluble, so there's no need to use any kind of solvents or anything to clean it out. Water will do just fine. So in this case, I don't need to change my e-juice, but what I'm going to do is take a handy dandy Q-tip that was not stuck in my ear first, and I'm going to stick the Q-tip right down in here in this barrel and clean along the threads, clean along the bottom face, stick it down in the hole a little bit and just kind of rub it around down in there, and get it all nice and cleaned up. And you'll be able to see, you know, where the e-juice is at if you just kind of look. Just kind of rub it down in there, nice little bit, and then, you know, wherever you can fit your Q-tip on the Mini, just go ahead and kind of rub it around the outer edge there. And that should give you a nice good little clean in there. Then the next thing, you can take your mouthpiece, and the mouthpiece can sometimes get a little cruddy inside, so just take a Q-tip and just run it up in there and clean out all that gizmo goblin stuff that's stuck up in there, and Give it a nice little and maybe get a little bit up here on the top so you don't get it on your lips, because that's gross. Okay, that was too much fun. Okay, so another thing is with this being metal, I don't know if you can see. You can see you do get a little cruddy buildup on your mouthpiece there. So you'll want to go ahead and run that under some water. And generally it's just like sticky, sugary stuff from all that nasty soda that you like to drink and stuff. So go ahead and just run that under a little bit of water. And it generally comes right off with just a little bit of scrubbing and dubbing. So there you go. And you can see the inside's all nice and clean up in there. At this point, we'll go ahead and fill it. Got my e-juice here. Give it a little shaky. It's always good to have your e-juice nice and shook up good. Then you take your little tank here. Take your little e-juice and go right down beside that barrel and fill it up good. Fill it up till it comes right up to about the top of that barrel that's in the center there. Not sure if you can exactly see, but the liquid comes right about up to the even with the barrel there. And you don't want to overflow the barrel, because obviously the only place it has to go is right down inside there, and you don't want that. We got that filled up. Now let's go ahead and take our coil, put it back in our centerpiece here, screw it in, just till it's nice and tight, makes a good seal. Then you take that, stick it right down in the center of that barrel and just thread it right in. And then you can safely flip it over. And this is the last part that we have to clean. Now when you're using this thing, e-juice, condensation, saliva from your gross mouth can go right down the mouthpiece, and stuff comes up from the coil, and it all tends to sit right in here. So if you notice a little bit of gurgling, it may not be from your coil. It may actually be from junk sitting underneath your mouthpiece. So just go ahead and take a Q-tip here and run it around the edges, stick it down in the hole there, get her nice and cleaned out, and then you're good. You can take your mouthpiece, put it back on, voila, we're clean, we're filled, we're ready to go. Like I said, if you have the glass tank, it's, same procedure. Same procedure, just not as cool. Because, this is a pretty cool machine. So, we got these things here, right? And this is our air control dial. So it's got nice positive detents. As you move around, there's 4 different settings. Super low, medium low, a little bit more, and wide open. So that's really up to you. If you have it on a low setting where it's really restricted, more juice is actually going to wick into the coil. If you have it up on the highest setting where it's very open, you're going to get more airflow, less juice. So I tend to like it on either the wide open or the medium wide open. So I guess you could say if Number 1 was fully constricted and number 4 was wide open. I like it on about 3. So it's all in personal preference. You will figure that out for yourself. So let's go ahead and hook this here on our electron accelerator. Just stick it in there, screw it right down on there until it's tight. Maybe give it a little and it's good. Check, make sure the air flows where you want it, because it does tend to move as you're hooking it up there. Let's take a toot off this thing and see what we get here. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. Well, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something. This is my Yeehee SX Mini. Love it. So there you go. That's how you can clean, fill, and kind of use your Nautilus Mini.